hell are you talking about? Right, this is a good mic position. Can you hear me correctly? Yeah, that's pretty chill. Right. Oh, did it not? Okay. I have to ping everyone manually. Right. Where's the Twitch channel? There we go. Twitch notifications. I'm live, lol. Oh, so it works with that one. It doesn't really work with the main server. Okay. Thank you, game. Right. Let's see. Am I alone in this party? No. 5,000. I just put it at 5,000. Cool. And for anyone that is here, maybe? I don't know how many people are here. Not really gonna expect much from this stream, or you can expect much. I'm gonna give it my all, as per usual. I'm the only one here. Yoshi decided to not warn anybody about a trip to Blackpool, like about 5 hours before he went or something. I don't know. 5 hours before this, we all thought I was gonna be joined by Yoshi, and then all of a sudden he's going to Blackpool. It was so funny, so stupid. And on top of the thing he did with Kira yesterday in the F2 race, yeah, thin ice, thin ice. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to CRF1. Lots of you might be new here, so I just want to take the time to introduce myself. My name is YT Teppen, and usually I'd be joined by that idiot I was just talking about, Yoshi Gamer. We're both commentators. We both do only Tier 1 so far. Yeah, that's really all you need to know. You'll get used to the names of our drivers soon enough, as because we don't decide to call them by their gamer tag. Well then, we are expecting we're expecting like one new person, I think, for the Tier 1 lineup. Mr. Speedy, a YouTuber who has like 4,000 subs. He's fast too, so I wasn't, expecting that, of course. But this is good. Good for good for him. He gets content. We get views. And you guys get to hear my lovely voice for about an hour and a half. God, I love math. Right then. It is, what time is it right now? 12:29. About a minute away from 12:30, which is actually 7:30 p.m. right over there in England. I, however, if you couldn't tell by my accent, am American. So 7 hours behind, and it works just perfectly for me. Because I'm not, screaming at the top of my lungs or anything. Nights, which, is good. What doesn't work out is the heat, which is always fun. And wow, I just realized that it's kind of hard to talk through this type of little waiting session. It updates the standings, so I don't know how to do that. Alright, if I go head on over to the main CRF Discord server, which please join. I'm not sure if the link is in the Twitch. It should be. I don't know. Anyway, if we do have any new viewers. Our last race winner out in Imola, Magix, who actually made it today. Literally tripping. No, he's here. He's here. Right, Magix right then and there. Made it out today after a spectacular win. And FTR, who won in Miami last time around, and Ryan, who hasn't won a race since the first round. So heading into the fourth round, he definitely wants to, do his thing, actually be fast, but he's going to have a little bit of competition as Mr. Speedy was actually pretty fast in the time trial we submitted, or he submitted rather. He seemed about a tenth quicker than Ryan, who, as we all know, is RQ98. And yeah. completely forgot to read out the standings. So for your top 10 drivers standings, Magix leads the championship with around 60 with 61 points. Ryan in a close second with 44 points. Gabriel, his former teammate, recently moved to Mercedes with 33 points. And FTR, stellar win in Miami, really carrying that 12th place finish in Imola. He has 31 points. Luke Sniper, who picked up a surprise podium last time around, has 25 points, and AQ Flo, who's continually had terrible starts and just general bad luck in the race, only has 19 points to show for this season. In that McLaren, Callum JF is making use with his time, with 18 points, and Doug Master, a longtime member of CRF, only has 15 points to show. X Lost Life, who has been, surprising us with some pretty good results, including, P6, I think? I don't remember, honestly. Actually, I could check. Hold on. Race results. He picked up P10 and P4 in Imola and Australia, respectively. So yeah, he's been pretty good, pretty solid midfield driver. Commendable performances. Enjoyable. And yeah, Richie recently actually moved to Red Bull in place of a Clubber King Callum. I think he was in the first race. A very good longtime member of CRL. Unfortunately, we decided to let him go as a reserve driver. And yeah, it's just because of an activity, no hard feelings involved. And we are expecting, I believe, around 16, with a couple joining and qualifying. Heading on over to the race schedule chat in the CRF Discord, CRF1 Discord. We are actually expecting 17, with a few more to join and qualify. This is cool. So a very large grid today, and if you're wondering why I don't have any music at all and it's just me talking, I usually put music at the end of the highlights, the F1 theme, and I told Yoshi that it was pretty bad that he had it, because in Miami, I ran into a problem where I put the F1 theme at the end with the race classification and all that. Terrible to listen to. So much dissonance, and I hated it. Anyway, yeah. So unfortunately, the man who was Tier 2 decided to gain 3 traction control on Haas driver. Going to be missing out with his Jamie. Very personal reasons that I'm not exactly sure he wanted to air on air, but We're also missing Mercedes driver Flo. Oh wait, he's here. Then he didn't mark it. He might actually be seeing multiple people. I'm not going to go off the race schedule because sometimes people just decide not to join, which is always a bit annoying. And hopefully my sound is on. Yes, I can hear. So, lap data enabled, track map enabled, make sure it's full, and telemetry, because you know what? It's pretty good in qualifying. I don't mind it. Right then, who's going to be the first one out on track? That looks like a Red Bull. Yes, Richie. Right then, first to pull out of the pits, but here's the thing, Magic gets the first one out on track, because, Haas is all the way at the end of the garage. If there's one thing I do like about Yoshi, is the fact that he can do qualifying very well. And this track has no corner name, so I have no idea how to make this, cool or entertaining for you. I don't watch the Women's Euro, so whatever's happening, Callum, I don't know. Anyway, the only people not to be on track right now, someone just joined. I don't actually know who it is. I can look all day and just not know who joined. We are expecting Luke, though, so both Alpha Tauris are going to show up. Both Alfa Romeos have shown up. Both Ferraris have shown up. It was terrible for Ferrari and Imola, by the way. I think it was like a P10 in Imola, and I don't even know if AQ finished in the points. Let's see. Yeah, AQ finished 4th. He outscored his teammate Ryan. So anyway, around the final corner, I always like to follow the first person out on track just to see what the little baseline, if you will, is. Right then, down the straight, DRS is very overpowered here, so I'm going to maybe not be too excited to see how that plays out. Lots of good defending can go to waste here. as long as you don't get a bad exit out of the chicane. Right then, yellow flags. Callum, I think he's just doing his thing. And that turn 3, that is going to catch a lot of people out today, provided they don't have the right setup. Look at Jamie getting on the grass there. Surprised he may not have lost it. Ferrari's swapping positions as, they both cause yellow flags into the chicane, and I believe that might be Degmaster. Going a little bit slowly. Right then, plenty of places to lose it on this track, and this is one of them. High speed, and it's hard to master. And you just want to get as much speed as possible going into that back straight, because you know it's going to gain or lose you tenths, which is always pretty good if you gain it, always really bad if you lose it. Right then, the chicane, absolute nightmare. I think a lot of people share this sentiment, except like 2 people. One of them being Milan, the other one being Satan. Well then, crossing the line, it is going to be a 118.2. God, I think the line is a lot sooner than it actually is. So let's go follow the Aston Martins. It's going to be Kira next to cross the line after the Haas. What is she going to do? If that even was a lap, a 120.6. And DJ Mango, a little bit behind his teammates, but I don't believe that was an actual lap. George then 4/10 off of Magic, and Matthew, the man we do like to take the piss out of quite regularly, actually deciding to prove that he's not worthless. Right then, FG Pac-Man, I have no idea what he's doing. But let's look at the McLarens. Callum JF, no. K-Dot, no. AQ Flow crosses the line, 18.4. Right then. Hopefully he doesn't... Sorry for pausing. Well then, Richie doing a very bad throwaway lap as Lil Rick Sam starts to do his lap. FG Pac-Man now going on his own lap. Let's see. Turn 9. Onto the gravel there. It's gonna cost him a little bit of time. Right. I actually can't see the telemetry, so that's just for you guys. Mr. Speedy's aborted his lap. This is his first race here, and hopefully it's a good one. That way he doesn't slander us on YouTube. Well then. FTR on an out lap. Let's see if he can get some redemption for his mistakes out in Imola. Teammates swap positions. And Kier, K-Dot, or whoever you want to call him, on an out lap as well. The podium hasn't changed, but both Astons have been demoted to 6th and 7th respectively, and I imagine that number is going to keep going down until the both of them do another lap. As I start switching, Lost Life loses it in front of a McLaren and a Williams. Lower Sam, that might be, I believe. Yeah. Well then. There are plenty of places to lose it, and hopefully it doesn't hinder as many, Yeah, so not great laps from the Alphas. Perhaps they are trying to do some slipstream stuff. I know I tried this, and I sacrificed my teammate for it. But look at that, a surprise P2 with Low Rick Sam, and the podium finally changes. AQ Flow demoted to 4th. George Moto doing nice and even 5th. Let's see if he can come fight that out of the box. And look at that, new Red Bull driver Richie, not doing too great. They were teammates before though in McLaren. 2 seasons last game, and it was pretty fun. I don't think he made it out of that corner. No, he didn't. I forgot to turn off UI. My bad. It's been a very long time since I've streamed alone. I used to stream for the Dutch GP League as Lost Life loses it at turn 4. Very bad turn to lose it at. Yeah. Is Speedy on a lap? He might be. I don't think he is. Sorry for any interruption I just went through. Yeah. Ryan now on his own lap. My mic good. My mic's fine. A little bit nasal though. Ryan now on his own lap. Let's see what he can do. 21.9 in the first sector. That is a purple first sector as well. Yellow flags in the second sector. I'm assuming this caused by no, Lost Life. Well then. Let's see, I imagine he's going to very much try and beat that pole time that Magic has set in his first lap, which is impressive that it stood for this long with 12 people deciding to challenge. And there we go. That is what I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That is a place where you don't want to spin. You know, otherwise, I don't know why he did that. I guess there was no better place to go to avoid the racing line, but you know what, it's fine. It works out. With heated tires, he might have to go back to the pits and try another lap. He just knows that he cannot afford another performance like Imola if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive. Well then, George now doing another lap. You can see him getting a little bit swirly as there is a stricken out FTR, or rather a spun round Alpine. And who has made it to the podium? No one. But Callum did set a 19 flat just now, which is pretty good pace, honestly. Yeah, Lost Life is retired with a 43.3. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think he just retired. And AQ Flow, that might have been a spin. We could just barely see him getting back up on the track then. Right then. And Magic, another lap to go 3/10 faster, or 2/10 leave. With 10 minutes to go in qualifying, that still remains a vulnerable time. But the only realistic people that could beat it, you know, from what I've seen, might be Mr. Speedy or Ryan. George and Gabriel isn't here, so no. George could beat it, but he kind of fell off. It's kind of surprising the man that was able to be level on points going into the final round of Season 5 in CRF last year. Or the last game, rather. It's kind of surprising he's fallen off this hard, but I know the new handling model, and not to mention like just the new game in general, affected a lot of people. Well then, Mango, 19.9. Pretty alright, I guess. I think I went faster yesterday, not that it really matters. Well then, outlap for Ryan now. I still hate how he has the number 7 on his car. Like, it doesn't look like the number 1, man. Just whatever. And Aston Martin there. Kira. Not great. DJ Mango is on an aborted lap. And hopefully Kira doesn't have to abort hers. Well then. Hopefully Ryan cannot afford any more mistakes like the one he just made. We see another Alpine going off in the distance. Jack Master, who was doing good, I think. Might have been improving in the first sector. Probably just lost everything. And might have to settle for P12. I don't know. Alpine, initially, I think they were doing very good, if memory serves me right. This could be the other championship, and DJ Mango, what is he doing? Well then, Kira's actually starting her lap now. Oh, it was a 20.6. It hasn't done anything. So... it wasn't a 20.6. That was just... yeah. I never had to focus on qualifying in a long while. So, I mean, you know, it was pretty... it's not new territory. It's just, you know, familiar territory. Well then, I don't believe anyone has told me the stream is looking bad yet, so I'm going to take that as AT&T bringing home this W and letting me be looked on favorably in terms of streaming. Well then, here's on her lap. Let's see, can she improve by anything coming down this straight? I think she had to lift off a little bit, just a little bit natural, yeah. Can she improve? Has she improved? No. 44 hundredths of a second there. Still a lot of room to improve. Definitely, you can do it. She can do it, but you know. Well, maybe not going onto the gravel and going wide and onto the curb, and that is her lap over. She'll have to wait again to beat that 20.6. Right then, Pac-Man just swapped places with Callum JF as in the yellow flag. DJ Mango goes through turn 3. He might have been letting somebody through. I don't know. Let's see. Has he improved Sector 1? Nope, because he had spun. Right then, Pac-Man hasn't done anything either, I don't believe. Though he's going through turn 3 now, and Mr. Speedy, look at that. 2/10 clear of that, you know, Haas car. There we go. That is a very good lap. Let's see what Magics can do to fight back, though. I think he has the pace in him. I think he truly does. It's more or less whether he can actually extract that pace. And well, maybe he will. Mr. Speedy finally set a lap himself, and that is only, yeah, that's really his first lap, apart from crashing. So he just has to keep consistent, but look at that! Orion, out of nowhere, the dark horse that I thought might have been, you know, kind of discounted from this qualifying, 3/10 clear of Mr. Speedy. So let's see now. Jamie has a mission, and he is out for blood. Going into turn 9, I always say you can take that runoff. Not for time gain, just because, you know, you mess up. Right then, down the DRS straight, and into, he's a 10th down. That's not very good, and recently I just learned that a 10th down means that he hasn't improved, which is a bit backwards in my opinion, but, you know, doesn't matter. George, look at that, he's even dethroning Jamie. Title contender, who's actually leading the championship at the moment. Not doing very hot today, but still has at least 4.5 minutes to go and fight that. Ryan might be fighting it. Nah, he's on a cooldown lap. And Mr. Speedy pulling back into the pits. Let's see if he can fight this. The consistency is key here. I guarantee you 5 DNFs. And I will eat a hat on stream. No. Eat a shoe on stream. There we go. Perfect. Perfectly acceptable. But yeah, I guarantee you, at least 5 people are not living in this race. I had to turn damage off and there were still 3 retirements. I don't know why Subtitle retired yesterday, but you know, it doesn't matter. McLaren, Callum, JF as K-Dot is on their outlap. That was 2/10 faster, but 2/10 would not be enough. And he's barely gotten past FTR. Right, K-Dot on their outlap. Let's see what they can do now. Quite a few people on their outlap, and I think Callum might have almost been doing good. I don't know. He's kind of gotten beached without getting beached there. It was just really hard to get out. Right then, Lil Rig Sam weaving on his outlap, as per usual. Who else is fun? FTR! Man, things have not been looking up for him since Miami. Could we see, could this, oh shit, he hit the pit wall. Lovely. Could this be a bit of a Maldonado situation? He won one race, he's kinda fast. Yeah, never won again. God, who could I do to, like, describe like that? I don't know. We caught K-Dot in 4K there. Well, actually 720p or something, I don't know. My internet might be great, so it might have been a little bit lower resolution. We saw him spin just before turn 4. And that is Mr. Speedy on an outlap as Ryan's in the pits, no doubt watching him. Let's check my phone, just in case people are telling me that my stream is very bad. Nope, no one's mentioning anything. This is very good. I'm very happy with this. I'm not going to check the stream. I'm not going to let myself down. Everyone else will let me down if my stream is bad. Very nasal today. Right, then Ryan's going to come out on his own outlap, and Speedy is nearing the end of his. But here's the thing, Magic is at the end of his, and he's going to start his new lap. Right then, he has 5/10 to gain in order to take pole position right back from the hands of the 9-time world champion. Well, 9-time CRF champion, rather. God knows he wasn't facing the world. But anyway. Through turn 3 like a dream there, and into turn 4 going pretty wide on that curb, as per usual, as you should do. And yellow flags, that is just Ryan letting Jamie by. Right then. I'll just let you guys go on board with him, watch the lap. And it almost looked like he killed himself there, which would have been funny. I would have laughed. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately, he didn't kill himself. So 300's down on his time, but still purple in the second sector, so perhaps he is on a overall time gain. Though still, being 300's going into the third sector, that's not a very good sign. Perhaps if he had a better first sector, he maybe could have, done something more with that. Well then, rounding the final corner and crossing the line, that is going to be a 17. Oh, that actually worked perfectly for him, and he nailed that final sector. Deleted the chicane and dethroned Mr. Speedy, but only by a hair. Let's see what he has to say about this, and look at that, he's already challenging Ryan back. Right, 40 seconds to go in qualifying, and that is one. Oh no! Right, you can see he barely lost it on that curb, and going through the final corner, how much time is that going to cost him, and might that cost him pole position? 17, still 17-4, and he fights Jamie right back, and that is 5 thousandths of a second off from Ryan's pole time. He would have had it if, he didn't spin a little on the curb. Well then, that should be it for his qualifying. Ryan is 1/10 up on his time, so let's see if he can fight this one. Qualifying should be ending right about now. And look at that, so 1/10 up on his time going into the final sector rather, purple sectors, 0.2 seconds up on his time. It's kind of confusing. Right then, he has the chicane to master in order to assert his true dominance, and give it a little bit of a challenge to Mr. Speedy. But still, oh, he went over the curb. Yeah, alright, pole position. That is done. He might have still gotten away with it, but he has a rapid Mr. Speedy charging from behind him. And on the second row are two actually very rapid drivers, and look at that gap. Let me just bring it up right now. Leader. Look at that. Look at how tiny. It doesn't get a second till 6th, which is really cool. And it's 5/10, 5th. So yeah, we could see a 4-way battle, but as exciting as battles are on this game, it is Spain. A lot of people spin, so that could be very bad for some of the people that want to get a good start here. Mr. Speedy just has to pull in the pits, and look at that. Qualifying is over. What an amazing qualifying it's been. I've been talking for 30 minutes straight. I have a bottle of water. I'm going to drink some. Fuck. Right, apparently there is lag, but it's okay. This doesn't go in the highlights. Right then, Ryan starts on pole position, but only narrowly, as he and Speedy lost it out of the final sector, or chicane. George completes the podium with a return to form, with only a 10th behind, and Jamie 2/10 behind that. Matthew actually a very, very, very solid P5 to result for him. Right then, I will go over this again on the grid. Right, so let's actually look at the Twitch and see how bad it is itself. Because no one else has complained about it other than Pino, who's in frickin' Thailand, I think. No, God. I forgot. It's a bit sad. Oh, it's pretty delayed. Yeah, it's pretty delayed. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty delayed. Alright. It's fine. I don't think it's gonna be as delayed, like, cause my internet, it's sending the signal to England, and then it's sending it back to Texas. So from Texas across the Atlantic and back to the Atlantic, or whatever. I don't know how streaming exactly works, but I promise you it won't look bad on the actual highlights, and nor it will look bad on the replay itself. Well then. Thirsty. Well, let's take a little quick picture of the grid and do our thing. Well then, everybody, Ryan has taken pole position by a mere 5 thousandths of a second, and Mr. Speedy has followed close behind by whatever. I'm gonna start that over again. Ryan has taken pole position by a mere 5 thousandths of a second, with Mr. Speedy just missing out. Both of them actually missed out on the final chicane. Those times could have been faster, everyone. Right then, George, a return to form sees him in third, and Magic quite couldn't match up with his title rival Ryan. Matthew, who we continually like to take the pick of, actually decides to prove himself fast once again, putting himself in a solid P5. AQ Flow falling off ever so slightly from that P2, and like inlet, I think, yeah. Not a great result for him, but it's okay, because guess what? He might be able to make up positions. Lil Rick Sam in 7th now, and Callum joins him in 8th. Right then in 9th, FTR LN4 continues to fall off since Miami. A great one-time win, and I respect him for it, but man, I don't know how he did it. FG Pac-Man, who we once thought was fast in last year's game, now proves to be only worth P10, at least around Spain. Richie in his new Red Bull seat only amounts to P11, and both Aston Martins, who regularly qualify like right next to each other, in P12 and 13th. Deg Master at least 5 places away from his Alpine teammate in 14th, with Lost Life in 15th. Well then, finally, K-Dot rounds off the entire grid in 16th for that McLaren. Terrible qualifying for them. But let's see if they can make up positions in the race, and I am very certain they can. That wasn't the best grid lineup, but it's fine. We're fine here. We make do. One last swig of water before I have to scream my heart out. And we're off and away here in Barcelona. Right. Literally mimicking myself. A bunch of people decided to disqualify themselves for messing up their starts, I believe, or grid positions. Right then. Let's see, there's your predicted pit stop strategy. It depends, changes depending on car to car. Can I get a good angle? Can I get a good angle from any one of these cars? No. Anyway, 5 lights, and we are off and away here in Barcelona. Ryan gets a great start, but look at that. He is quickly falling behind to Magic, who decides to jump with Mr. Speedy up to P2, and maybe even challenge for P1. Old title rivals go at it P3, and look at George wins out with FTR immediately making up, and AQ Flow having a bad... Oh, both Ferraris are actually involved in that. That is a massive crash, massive incident. That is seeing a lot of people have their race ruined. Pac-Man falling down, and K-Dot, someone's in the wall. That is an Alfa Romeo. And safety car, no safety car, but look at that, Kira spinning as per usual, with both Ferraris having a terrible day indeed. Well, it's a day for Mr. Speedy's channel as he gets to add another race start to the books. But look at that, George might be able to challenge both of them as he's on blistering pace at the moment. Let's see, Callum JF regularly surprising us as being a really good midfield driver, and Matthew lost out, but look at he's quickly gaining back his P5. Well then, Ryan now has some work to do, and so does AQ Flow, making up that terrible start, especially because I think they might have lost a winglet or two. Okay, no one really lost a winglet, I don't think. Except Richie? No? Maybe a little. That looks a little bit deformed as he goes around the final chicane. That's a bit of an L for everybody involved as Mr. Speedy leads us away in lap 1. Right then, the top 3 are becoming ever so slightly more separated as the lap goes on, and Matthew is fading away, or is rather watching FTR fade away, and as I say that, decides to pick up a little bit of pace and close that gap. Turn 3 is going to prove tricky this entire race, as look at that. FTR decides to spin right around, giving another position back to Ryan and AQ Flow, and everyone up from 14th. Right then. Richie is ever so slightly closer to the points, but K-Dot from a 16th place on the qualifying grid, or qualifying position. Things are looking up, and let's go check winners and losers. We are all 7-10. The biggest loser today, at least around lap 2, is Lil Reg Sam, and even though he got another overtake, oh dear, who is this? DJ Mango into the wall, and that is another Alpine spin by FTR, with Lost Life falling further and further behind, and Mango can't seem to get back on track. Well, then George finally got broken by DRS with Magic, and Magic only has to hunt Mr. Speedy without worrying about George. Right then. Again to our biggest loser, and I think somebody was spinning again. Ah, Jesus Christ. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, I think, having a little bit of trouble there at the final sector. Yeah, just these 4 people down here, and Mango again spinning a little bit just as he enters the chicane. Not very good indeed. Right then, Magic's now can still see Mr. Speedy coming closer and closer. And DJ Mango in the pits then as Lil Reg Sam keeps making use of that Red Bull. No, I'm getting confused. Because I know a Williams and a Red Bull switched, but it's just very confusing anyway. 12, Degmaster has another spin and lets Lil Reg Sam through. Not much to do about that as Kira picked up a position from, I'm assuming, K-Dot spinning. And I thought I saw someone go off again. Right then, Mr. Speedy is working tirelessly to break that gap, and look at that, going into the third sector, he might have with FTR gaining another penalty, and he is retired from the session. Right then, Sector 1, Sector 3, yellow flags, and that is an Alfa Romeo. Oh dear. He's trying to warm up his tires, and I don't think that's the issue, lost life. Anyway, Mr. Speedy leads the race once more, as Ryan now, again, still has to work. And back to our biggest winners and our biggest losers. Well, lost life despite not gaining or losing any positions from 15th. I might want to put him on that list, and I think everyone knows where. Right then, our biggest, technical loser, Lil Reg Sam, who's lost 6 positions since the start, and Ryan, who has lost 4 positions since the start. Tied for, not tied, not at all. But Callum is tied for second with Ryan. But who is in first? K-Dot, jumping all the way up from 16th to gain 6 grid positions, or 6 positions from the grid. Well then, look at that. Magic might have fallen off a little bit there, as George has fallen off even further, and our top 3 are getting farther and farther by the second. I used the wrong further. Lovely. More chaos at the back as people still don't know how to drive. Right then. I'm not saying I knew how to drive, but I had the excuse of, my wheel killing itself. Anyway, let's see now. Battle is brewing between Supreme and Dugmaster. Red Bull versus Alpine. Who comes out on top? Well, definitely not the Red Bull as we watch it go right round out of turn 9. Yeah. It's really hard once you spin on this track because there are like a lot of high-speed turns where, you're turning the wheel a lot. And if your grip, mechanical grip, I believe the phrase it's called? I don't know. Anyway, 3 seconds all separate our Tier 1 top 3. As Mr. Speedy continues to be faster than most of everyone on track. Well then, Ryan, his championship chances, that number 10 is fading further away with every race, as he only scored a point. No, he only scored a few points last time around as Mercedes passes, or laps rather, an Alfa Romeo. Wow. Oh, Lost Life retired as well, or FTR. I don't know who retired first. But anyway, bottom line is, those 2 are out for the count, and Speedy keeps putting distance between Magic, and Magic keeps putting distance between... Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't even know this battle was happening. How could I miss it? A 3-way battle between Child and 2 actually competent drivers. And look at that, he might get a double overtake. Or he might get overtaken twice. I said this a couple weeks ago. What is double overtake, being overtaken twice called? I don't know, nor do I really care anymore, as now DRS is enabled as they both go on to the main straight. Then it's going to be a little bit of DRS train with George as the sitting duck in that final podium position. That has put him at least a second behind Magic, or second further from Magic, as they both scrap, or as the trio scraps with each other. Well then, more yellow flags that I do not care enough to look into, as I believe K-Dot spins again. Well then, look at that. Look at that, and Matthew might go for a move, and nope, he was smarter than that. But AQ Flow, on the other hand, decides to spin into turn 3. Well then, Ryan's growing more impatient by the second, as they, full safety car. Oh dear, what has happened? Who stopped on track? That is the Aston Martin of DJ Mango, right on board with, George. Hopefully he goes to let us see. If you look to our right there, oh yeah, the stricken Aston Martin car. You can see it, and does it just despawns. He spun on turn 9, carried way too much speed through there. His tires were just lit up. Put out of his misery, finally, DJ Mango is out of the race, which is quite unfortunate. Safety car. Or not another safety car, but we have a safety car. First one of the race is Magic decides to go pitting. Right, let's change that detail to tires. A lot of people started on mediums then, and let's see what they're going to pit to. Only a few started on hards, and one started on softs. Well then, George, one of the first in the pits after Red Bull comes second in the total pit lineup, he changes back to softs. Not back to softs, but you know. Right then, Magic changes onto a pair of hards, or a set of hards, and out of the fridge, Pac-Man decides to grab some ice-cold mediums. Serving a penalty? Nah, just serving a front wing. So that's what was wrong with him. George wants to pick up the pace, then actually catch up to the top three, but I'm not sure how much of a long-term plan, or how well that plan might last. Anyway, Ryan back up to third place. That is definitely better for him than being in, you know, 6th or 7th, as he was earlier. And Matthew has to deal with a bunch of lapped cars between him, or at least, oh yeah, a bunch of lapped cars between himself and Speedy. Bit of an L for everybody involved, honestly, but you know what, it's just how the game happens. So Mr. Speedy has a giant advantage over everybody at the moment, and it's looking likely he might be very ready. God, it's like the secret language or something. Yeah. He might be very worthy of this title by the end of the season, and hopefully we get more fast drivers just like him. Well done. Second lap of the safety car. I think we only have to endure one more lap of this. Spain. Get it? Spain. Pain. Lamau. I'm so funny. Well then, let's see what's going on in the chat. There will be lag, but try not to worry about it. Yeah. Right from Kier, or also known as K-Dot. Thanks for the space, Aston Martin. I am sure what incident he was referring to. Yeah, it's fine. Well then, from 12:53, this is about 10 minutes ago, from Ryan. Fuck, my controller fired in the last sector. Fuck, fuckity fuck. I assume this is pole position. He's, you know, talking about. Jamie said this is his worst track. Yeah, a lot of people hate this. 4/10 up, bottled it. Bit of an L from Speedy. Right then. You can barely go flat. Yeah, there's so many turns where you should go flat, but you can't, and it's so annoying. Terrible. Anyway. Kira, you're so shit. Why you fighting me when you know I'm faster than you? Thank you for spinning me, you fat little Jesus. They know each other, so I'm gonna assume this is just friendly banter, but damn. Anyway. Jesus, this race is awful. Yeah, I don't think Luke, that one's from Luke. I don't think he's in here, like the actual session, so not only is the race, like, actually very bad and chaotic, it's just really bad on a technical level, because my stream quality is probably killing itself at the moment. So, you know. Anyway, I believe safety car is in this lap as Mr. Speedy is starting to slow down, and Matthew is 3 cars behind him. Yeah, not where you want to be as second place. Lewis Hamilton would know best. I mean, Max Verstappen would know best. Anyway, green flag racing, and we are going again here around the Circuit de Barcelona de Catalunya. Not much to comment on other than the fact that Matthew might be very susceptible to Ryan, and Magic might get that jump on AQ Flow, and George might join in on that fight, so it might be a 3-way fight for P4, with Kira being in 7th place, trying to fight off K-Dot and FG Pac-Man. Right then, Callum now has to do some work. 1.348 seconds as of reading that to catch up to join that fight. And look at that, Magix gets past AQ Flow, making quick work of that Ferrari, and even quick work of that Red Bull back up into P4. And has to focus on his main rivals, Ryan, for the title. Well then, it's shaping up to be a race, definitely, as Ryan is 9/10 away from, you know, Matthew, which isn't ideal, definitely not, as McLaren swap positions, obviously, for a spin. Maybe not swap positions, that would be unfair to K-Dot, who was fighting Kira until they weren't. Who knows, maybe this is all part of some massive like mind game conspiracy and Kira's like really good because everyone underestimates her. I don't know. Chatting shit right now just because I think it's funny. This race doesn't have too much going on, and when it does have something going on, it's just on the main straight. Well then, not much else has been said in the Discord chat, as Slipstream is not helping Ryan all too much catch up to Matthew, which is, you know, pretty cool, I guess. I guess this is one of Matthew's strong tracks, because he seems to be actually be pulling away from Ryan, which is very surprising. And Mr. Speedy has gone away in the distance again. Y'all just gotta hope. Y'all just gotta hope for another safety car, huh? Anyway, Kira then, on FG Pac-Man, decides to spin him right round, baby, into turn 5. Bit of an L for her, and I'm assuming she might get penalized later today for that, because it did kind of go in the back of him. You could make the argument that it was like really weird because it didn't let her like ghost through, but oh, Pac-Man's retired. Strong words, I'm assuming will be heard eventually. Yeah, let's see. We all know Low Sam decided to throw some strong words her way, and so far, those 5 retirements that I said will guarantee, I guaranteed earlier, well, 4 of those have come true, so we just need to wait a little bit longer. DRS now enabled, which means people are actually going to start fighting and overtaking. Wow, so funny, so cool. Well, then that is a DRS stream waiting to happen with Magic, Ryan, and Matthew, but look at that, Mr. Speedy is all the way far down the road. Everyone just needs to pray for a mistake from him in order to even fight for that win. And Matthew doesn't seem to be any closer to overtaking him, or catching him, than he was 3 laps ago, or, you know, any lap ago, rather. He's actually losing time to both Magic and Ryan. As Ryan loses time to Magic, Matthew loses time to Ryan. As frickin' hell. I didn't even see that one coming. Like, I just like went down to see like who was, you know, overtaking everyone, like the final actual order. Anyway, someone's dying over here again. Right then, George. He was running in a solid podium position. Yeah, not running there no longer. P6 for my fellow wannabe commentator. It's so funny. 1, he wouldn't embarrass himself at all in the race, and I wouldn't have to make fun of him. And yeah. Well then, look at that. With DRS now enabled, that means that Ryan can finally, you know, make work of Matthew, and look at that, he does. I'm assuming he used a little bit of ERS then, as he got so far ahead of that AlphaTauri. Now up on the now next to, you know, put him down a place is a Magic. But look at that, Matthew may fight back as that McLaren decides to go around this 3rd chicane, or 3rd sector again. Right then, Matthew doesn't seem to be gaining any substantial time, but I know he can hold within that second is Kira. God, I fucking burped. Right, Kira on board with, damn it, no one's close to her, and she just manually retired. Okay. Then I don't care. I don't know why she manually retired, but that makes 5! Let's go. Alright then, I've won my bet against nobody. And now, Magic is trying to make quick work of Matthew, which, once they get down to the DRS straight, I have no problem assuming that's what's going to happen. Let's check up a little bit on how much ERS they all have. And Ryan seemed to have been managing it pretty well. So now out in clear air, he's going to be able to fight Matthew. I mean, not Matthew, Jesus. He's going to be able to fight Mr. Speedy, eventually, hopefully. They're both on 12-lap old mediums, and you can see Speedy just down the road there, as Magic finally makes that overtake. It's not as dominant as we would have thought, though, but he does get quite far ahead of that AlphaTauri on hard tires as well. Let's see if he can start to catch Ryan on hard tires as George decides to come in for a set of hard tires. Well then, lap 13 out of 33, we are still not close to our halfway point. Well, we're close to it, we're just not at it. I believe the halfway point is like, what, 16. It's like 16 or 17. 16. I'm gonna say 16. But 17 means 17. The halfway point is 17. I don't know. It's basically 16 and a half laps. That would be a good halfway point to say. And look at that. That gap is not really shrinking from P2 to P1. Even despite Ryan putting blistering lap times in, Speedy, on the other hand, just seems to be much better on the race pace front than the quali front, at least here in Barcelona. Well, and he's putting it 4 seconds between himself and P2 now, especially because Ryan decides to cut that curb every single time, which loses him a little bit of time. I don't think anyone's ever told him. And Magic now has DRS on that Ferrari. Right then, George finally out of that session. His pointless streak continues as we get another full Frigidaire safety car. But this is very good for others. That 4-second lead. That 4-second lead that we talked about. 4 seconds no longer. It's actually going to be a lot less. So 13-lap-old mediums, what are the top two going to do? Are they going to duke it out on 13-lap-old mediums once they get close to each other? Or are they going to pit for new hards or softs? Can't imagine they'd go on mediums again, but you'll never know. We never know. Well then. It's another safety car, and I don't really have too much to talk about. But yeah, 6 DNFs actually. So everyone today scores 1 point, or at least a point. Everyone today scores at least a point. So long as they finish the damn race. Water is the best drink, in my opinion. I thought I saw Mr. Speedy go around the final turn. That would have been funny. Alright, they both dive into the pits, but for what tires? Let's see. Pit turn in would have been a lot later. A lot earlier for Ryan, but a lot later for Speedy, so Ryan can't really react too much, I don't think. It's a new set of hards. It's a new set of hards for the Ferrari, and for the Alfa Romeo, it is also a new set of hards. So on equal terms now, they meet each other in P3 and 4. Yeah, on equal terms, they're going to meet each other in P3 and 4, and Callum decides to try and stick it out. And everybody is very hard right now, as, you know, they all have hard tires. God, I'm so funny. Right then. Until the safety car ends, we're not going to see the true extent to which this battle is going to commence. But, you know, who knows? It could, perhaps Ryan could be better on that hard tire. But I've seen Mr. Speedy. I've watched him a little bit before. I don't pay attention to details too well, so I'm not entirely sure. I can't go ahead and tell you, oh, he races like this, and he's going to make these types of decisions, and he's going to do this type of thing and that type of thing. No. I mean, if I could, I still wouldn't have told Ryan, but, you know, if I could. Anyway, Richie might score Red Bull's first points of the Constructors, as George just decides to retire again. All he needed to do was wait, and maybe he'd score 1 point. But nope. Nope. Water is the best beverage. Other than top like three drinks. Water. Pepsi. Let's see what my third one would be. 7-Up. God, I love 7-Up. 7-Up gang for life. They look really good on that Jordan car, so I mean, you know, chilling. Well then, Supreme Richie, yeah, he's gonna score his first points on 10-lap-old mediums. Or his first Williams points, at least. Not Williams. Frick! His first Red Bull points, and Red Bull's first points, as they sit at 0 points in the Constructors at the moment. I should be right. So I'm hoping people did get clips from the start, but if they didn't, bit of an L. I wonder if Mr. Speedy is streaming this. Let's see. If he is, it'll be funny. Come on. Let me just see his channel. Come on. Alright, safety car shouldn't be in this lap. Should take one more lap around the Sir. I lied. I just lost track of time then. Well then. We are now going to see what this battle is going to start looking like. He's not streaming. What an L! What an L for everybody involved. Maybe he's on Twitch. I don't know. But Magic out in the lead right now, 9-lap-old Hards, is going to be very susceptible to at least 4 people. Okay, 3 people that actually have the pace. Because I'm not counting AQ Flow in this. Matthew, he's not terrible. He's actually doing really good this time around, but still. Yeah. He recently declared himself the FRL champion, which is his league that only ran 3 rounds. Bit of an L on his part. But look at that. Magic gets a great getaway, who Callum has to be stuck behind a lapped car, and Mr. Speedy has to be... Is he stuck behind a lapped car? Yeah, he's stuck by... no, he isn't. I'm dumb. But anyway, look at that. He's going to start gaining time on that McLaren, and soon enough, Callum is going to start drowning a little bit. Not drowning too badly, as AQ Flow and Matthew are actually fighting. Look at that. Around the outside. Nope. That is not the move that AQ wants to make at the moment, and with good reason. Good reason. Right then, into turn 4. Let's see, can the Ferrari sandwich will become the Ferrari 4-5. Going into turn 5 then. AQ Flow is barely making up time on Matthew, who is actually barely making up time on Ryan. Oh, he actually is making up time on Ryan. Or at least sticking with Ryan, which is actually pretty surprising. Because again, he's usually not too fast. He's usually fast enough, but you know. Anyway, Matthew still continuously being in the top 5. Literally Pierre, the meme where it's like Pierre Sixley. Oh yeah, Mr. Speedy on Callum now. This is gonna be a bit of an L for Callum, being overtaken at such high speeds. Yeah, after all, he is pretty, you know, speedy. Yeah. This race hasn't had much to it, honestly. I think this is the first real boring Spain race I've really seen. Right then, DRS not even needed for Mr. Speedy to start pulling ahead of Callum into the first corner. And there's Ryan in that shot. You could barely see him coming into focus. And yeah. Speedy gets away with turn 2. Gets away with P2 rather. And now he has to fight or hunt down Magic on Withering Tires. Lap 18 out of 33. And we just need... I just hopefully know that the race isn't going terrible on Twitch. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I wouldn't know. I haven't been pinged too much though, so I mean that's... It's always a good thing, isn't it? What's the corner cutting? Is on strict or regular? We don't do... Okay. I think we don't really do regular... or strict, rather. We don't do strict because one... Ryan's bad. No, I'm kidding. We don't do strict because, you know... I asked the other day what Ryan's vision for the league was, because it is his league after all. I might help out with a lot of it and be responsible for like 80% of its visual identity and how it looks and is presented. But it's still his league. It's still very much his league. As Mr. Speedy decides to set a 20.9. Pretty good lap. Pretty good lap. But yeah, still his league, as I've said. And you know, I asked him the other day, what is your vision? Oh, look at that, and screw his vision, I'm missing a pretty good battle as he jumps up to the podium positions, but still, with Magic leading that championship and Mr. Speedy quickly, imminently becoming a, you know, big threat in his eyes at least. Let's see, those 4-lap-old mediums, they should be on the same pace. This is a battle of skill now. Equal cars, 4-lap-old tires. Right. I guess it really just depends how much they've killed their tires. Maybe Speedy's a little bit better at saving them, or maybe Ryan's a little bit better at saving them. I don't know. But one thing's for certain is Magic's gap is slowly, withering away from 2 points. This game loves to make me look like an idiot. I mean, I guess not entirely like an idiot, but it's kind of just staying there at 2.5, a healthy gap in my opinion. Never mind. Or 2.4, 2.5, whatever. The exact number doesn't matter, as AQ Flow's trying desperately to, not pluck his eyeballs out from staring at the back of Matthew's car as Callum decides to go have a wall inspection. That joke would have been a lot funnier if I didn't bottle saying it, but it's fine. Right then, AQ Flow on Matthew for P4, and it is a done deal. He licked the stamp and he sent it. Maybe not in the conventional way of licking the stamp and sending it in Formula 1, but it's fine. Well then, Mr. Speedy's gap slowly coming down, and only ever really going down around 0.2, maybe 1/10 a lap. It's definitely a healthy gap at the moment. Definitely a healthy gap, but we can see that Speedy is the fastest on track at the moment. Fastest driver on track at the moment. One hell of a debut, definitely. So let's see. A lot of people are separated except the McLarens, but I have no doubt that battle's going to end in how I just saw it end. Mistakes and a spin. I am a psychic! I am a psychic. No need to thank me. Right then. K-Dot having another game of spin or whatever. I don't know. Can't come up with a joke, but, effectively, now in last place, as a lot of the other cars are lapped. You're not making it better. As AQ Flow decides to be the fastest man on track today with a 20.7 rather. And he's rapidly closing that gap on Ryan and Matthew. Somehow is sticking with it. Okay, we keep giving him flack because he's 5, but my God, he can actually drive sometimes, which is really funny. I don't know. Magic actually seems to be holding up Mr. Speedy pretty well. And on 6-lap-old hards, though, let's see, maybe that gap of 2.8 seconds, which is actually 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds for AQ Flow, that might start coming down, and we could have an interesting final 3 laps, provided no one decides to kill themselves and cause another safety car. Yeah, not much going on in this race. I cannot see Twitch chat, so don't ask me for anything. I don't usually check up on the stream, and I'm not going to until the race ends. Yeah. At least the stream is watchable as Mr. Speedy decides to, put in another 20.7. Alright, detail, fastest lap. No, that's not it. No. Fastest lap here. 20.7. So only... My washer is doing some crazy things right now in the other mirror room. It's thumping around. But yeah, 20.7 is the fastest lap right now. And it's essentially 20.8 as the second fastest lap. And Magic can barely mount to a 21 flat, so yeah, it's kind of looking pretty bad for Magic. Not terrible pace, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's gonna bottle it at any time soon, but Mr. Speedy is closing in fast. As Jagmaster decides to give Alpine a great name by spinning. Lovely. Well, in McLaren, no matter what you say, that's still a pretty alright result for, McLaren. They're still putting some points to their name in the Constructors' Championship. But what is more focused on, so right now, 15 points if Ryan finishes the race, and 12 points if AQ finishes the race. That's basically 30-something points. I don't know, I didn't learn math. Why would you assume that? as AQ Flow tries to break Matthew's slipstream. Oh my god, why are you still here? How are you still here? This is nothing but respect at this point. Actually kind of crazy. And Mr. Speedy continues to, oh, okay, he's had an off. I repeat, he has had an off and left himself vulnerable to Ryan. And that might have ruined his tires a little bit, so Ryan now is going to be trying to pick up that opportunity. And AQ Flow definitely needs to keep Matthew off of his ass, just so they can score some really good constructors points. Well then, it's been a pretty mid race with some exciting moments and moments I've enjoyed commentating, yeah. But still, anyway, Ryan quickly trying to close that gap on Mr. Speedy. And he seems to be doing it as he purples in the second sector with another yellow flag from Degmaster, and I think that's... He just got lapped again. Pitiful. Actually pitiful. Anyway, I don't know why Ryan keeps cutting that corner. It is not faster. It is slower. He falls off every time he does it. Oh, as I say that, he starts getting time. But in help from DRS... Oh, he's not in DRS, so... Maybe he's using a little bit of ERS? I don't know, I can't see much. Oh, he was. Okay. So 1.7 seconds to Mr. Speedy then, and 3.4 seconds to Magic. So we have had 3 different winners, and that might be the end of it in the first 4 rounds, as Magic may or may not win the Spanish Grand Prix. It is getting pretty late in the race with only 9 laps to go, so it is not a terrible assumption to make, but we must never draw into conclusions, as that is the magic of Formula 1, and that is the magic of CRF. Anything can happen, and I mean anything. Yeah. It wasn't as exciting because no one was really ever faster than Ryan, but now we actually have fast people in here, so he's not finishing first every race. Well then, AQ Flow still struggles to keep Matthew behind him. Well, no, yeah, it's kind of fair to say struggles. This is an ongoing process, and Matthew's been pretty good at keeping up. Which is really commendable. Like, my god, I didn't think he'd be able to do it. Honestly. Well then, Magic's still in first place, still keeping that basically 3.1 second lead. And Ryan could not match that fastest lap. This went even faster, by the way. So let's see, interval fastest lap, 6:09. Funny number! Let's go. I peeked a little bit on the mic. You're gonna hear me peek. Well, number 8, Speedy, versus number 7, Ryan. It's... Oh, what happened? Did Ryan fall off, or did Speedy just get, like, really good all of a sudden? Well, like I said, I was too busy worrying about something else, and I can't even remember what that else is. So, things happened, and Ryan fell off. Oh, this is the leader gap. Never mind, I'm actually brain dead. So the gap isn't terrible anymore. 2.3 seconds between Speedy and Ryan, and still 5/10 between Flo and Matthew. And that's like the only battle going on really. Everyone else is just really far apart and/or lapped, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, these two are actually fighting, but I mean, it's not really a fight we want to see. Right, with DRS and ERS, even though he got a pretty... Oh, okay. Flo decided to bottle it, and I assumed with a snap of oversteer, gave that position up to Matthew, so somehow I imagine Ryan isn't too happy with the 4th place. Somehow I imagine isn't happy with Matthew taking 4th place away from his teammate. Guys, I can English. I got a 97 on the state test of 2 million kids. Not a lot of people did that. Booyah. Anyway, so here we go then. Matthew now has the task of keeping AQ Flow off of him, even though he could barely... Well, he was fighting him. He was fighting him. I'm not gonna act like he wasn't. Oh, look at that. It's barely breaking 2 seconds now. That gap between Speedy and Magic. But Magic, all he has to do is make a mistake, and Speedy wins the race. But is Magic consistent enough? to do him to make a mistake. I think he is. I think he's consistent enough to not make a mistake. So finally going into lap 27 with now 5 laps remaining. Nope, 6 laps. I went to school, guys, I promise. 6 laps remaining now. And those gaps keep getting bigger as AQ Flow decides to really take what... It's been a day for Ferrari fans, and I can only assume that all he wants to do at the moment is just try and take fastest lap away. I think that would be a pretty good strategy call to make, because you're not making up 12 seconds in 6 laps. Especially because, you know, a lot of the cars are a lap behind you, and you're going to make a pit stop. You could make a pit stop if you really wanted to. So, I mean, you could do it. I don't see why you couldn't do it. But, I mean, I guess I understand if you don't want to do it. Anyway, Mr. Speedy now 1.5 seconds, 1.3 seconds, 1.4 seconds away. And Callum, oh my god, that dark horse. Nah, he's on softs. It makes sense. So on softs, Callum decides to set a 20.5, and that might be an extra point going into McLaren. And now, AQ Flow has to make the decision. Does he want to pit to try and get a point in the Ferrari side of things? As Mr. Speedy is really catching up to Magic there. Like at least a second gained within the last few laps, which is pretty nerve-wracking if you are Magic and you need to keep this man behind you for another 5 laps. Let's see if he can actually pull that off, though. I think he can. I believe in Jamie. I know he's very pacey. So let's see if he can. 0.1 seconds. Oh, shifalabadoozle. It doesn't seem to be going that way. As Deckmaster continues to spin just to retire at this point. Like, if you retire at, like, lap 31, that's still the race. You still get your points, yeah. You're, like, 1 point. Yeah, I don't know. Ryan, 3 seconds behind Speedy, who is really catching up and really gaining on Magic. If Magic can just keep him out of DRS, this will be good. But with the rate of, you know, progression from 3 seconds to 1 second, it doesn't look like it's going to be that, and doesn't look like it's going to happen that way. So we are about to witness either a really good fight for P1, or we're about to witness complete and utter DRS tactics. Just have him speed right by. Oh, Jesus. That is not the car I thought it would have been, but Deckmaster decided to spin right in front of us. So, you know, it's fine. DRS I don't think was gained. Nope. So DRS is not wide open, but Slipstream, that doesn't negate the... There's still the effective Slipstream. It is just not as prevalent or strong. But with 4 laps to go, can Magix continue to put that gap between them? 9 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths again, and into turn 4. You always need to turn sharper into there, because apparently that gains you time. Whatever. 9 tenths into turn 4, that is not good. 8 tenths, 7 tenths. Is it going down further? No, it is going to stay at 8 tenths for now. And, oh, Jesus. Alpine, I'm just not even going to mention it. He doesn't deserve it. Well, then 8 tenths, that does put him in DRS range. And that makes Magix more sweaty by the minute. He burnt his hand, and he is still keeping off a charging, which is actually pretty commendable in my opinion, with a McLaren going off again. Who is that, Callum? No, that is Kier. Or K-Dot, rather. Well then, 6 tenths, that is not looking good for Magic, who just needed to keep it for another, like, 4 laps. The pressure is on. This is gonna impact the championship, and it might be still swinging in Magic's corner, especially with Ryan in that 3rd place. But it's not gonna be as much as he definitely wants it to be. The gap isn't gonna be as large. He was in Tier 2 last season because Tier 2 was an unsorted mess, as Tier 3 is gonna be like mid-season. Anyway. More yellow flags caused by Richie in that Red Bull. But look at that, 5 tenths now. That gap is shrinking by the corner. Even if by hundredths, it's still nerve-wracking for that Haas in front of him. Right, am I getting pinged at all? Like, I think the problem, like, okay. You guys, my mic's not cutting out? My mic's fine. There we go. So yes, 4/10. That gap is gone now. That gap is actually just gone. And now, Mr. Speedy, starting in P2, has everything to gain from this P1. And this is very good for content, because look at this. He can say last 2-lap fucking P1 battle, and he gets good content out of it. We get to push that content, he gets to push ours. Anyway, with 2 more laps of this, let's see. I know you gain a little bit, and then somehow lose a little bit in DRS. But there is a lot of straight now. There's a lot of, like, you know, straight lines. Like, long straight lines. That can really... Oh, I thought somebody spun off. I was looking at the track map as Magic lapped the McLaren. Well then, I'm very excited to see this. It is going to go down to the final, like, absolute final corner. I hope so. Anyway. 16 people started this race, and so far, everybody who finishes this race will score points. I don't want to wait for Supreme to just cross that line, though. Like, my god. Anyway, 4/10 between the top 2, as Ryan continues to try, but he's we know he's not going to get that much. He at least gets to spectate it out of the corner of his eye, though. Purple Sector 2 once again for Ryan. So 5/10. That is ever so slightly closer than they were last time. But oh, look at that! Speedy's kind of got the exit wrong. 7/10 between them with DRS and ERS. He's going to be using both to try and get ahead of Magix. And Magix is going to be using all of it. Ryan, 20.2 with the fastest lap. It's going to be an extra point to snag off of Speedy's plate, or Callum's plate, rather, in the Ferrari area now. And I'm surprised... Oh yeah, AQ's on soft tires trying to do his thing. Right then. My throat hurts a little bit, but I am very much okay. 3/10. Barely 4/10 separate the top 2, with only one more chance to play some good old DRS chicken or whatever. It's not DRS chicken. What am I saying? Just try and use DRS to, you know, get this advantage. Only one, at least on this straight. So let's see. Will Magic actually, you know, walk away with the victory? Or, you know, fight for this victory and try to walk away with it. 19.8 for Richie with a soft tire, putting that point into the Red Bull garage, but they don't really need it, do they? Well then, on to the final lap now. Both these two have given it everything they've got, and they are continuing to give it everything they got. Right then, Mr. Speedy leads, not leads, Mr. Speedy falls behind. I keep saying the wrong thing. Mr. Speedy is in second, but look at that with the help of DRS and ERS. He's going to go to the inside. Jamie doesn't want him to go there. And look at that. Jamie holds him off, and a little bit of contact between the two. That is pretty dangerous, especially in a corner that it was very hard to get right. But it has ended well for Jamie, so that means Mr. Speedy only has one more chance, one more real chance to use DRS to his advantage. And this time it will work if he's this close behind Magic there. So into this corner, what was it, turn 4? It was turn 5, actually. So out of turn 5 and now into, I don't know, 7, 8, and now up going into turn 9 just before the DRS zone. AQ Flows does what I thought they should do. Right then, Speedy didn't actually have that good of an exit, but with DRS and ERS, no, Magic is not going to give up that inside line, but Speedy, the contact between the two as Speedy was cut off there, and he spins out, oh my god, Ryan's going to go into second place. Heartbreak for Speedy, throws away a perfectly good P2, and has to settle for P3 unless he just decides to drive straight into the back of Ryan. But after all those hard-fought battles, all those trials and tribulations, Magic comes home in first place to win the Spanish Grand Prix. Ryan in second, and a newcomer, Mr. Speedy, after a brilliant display of pace and a little bit of bad luck, comes home in third. Matthew now comes home in fourth. Great result for him. I'm actually, you know, kind of happy for him somehow. And AQ Flow, yeah, that's gonna stay the same. I don't care what you say. So I wish we could all just like end that now. But we still have to wait for AQ Flow, Callum, and this kid, you know. My throat hurts a lot, actually. But yes, what a result for everybody here. Let's see how far behind the stream is right now. I imagine it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit far. CRF Racing League on Twitch. Right then. Very good result for Magic today, and Mr. Speedy lost out, but here's the thing. The display we saw from him, the pace we've seen from him, that's going to keep going on to the next season, and I'm sure he'll stay with us for... And undoubtedly he'll probably stay with us, because that was some actually good racing. Anyway, finally Richie takes home a few points for Red Bull as Callum bins it into the wall at the final lap. I like doing that too, it's okay. Anyway, good points for Red Bull, but my god, brilliant display from the top three there. That was very exciting to see at the very closing stages of the race. Well, then I assume things are going off in the CRF chat. Right, Jamie Bro How, no grip from Speedy, 27 old hards, GG lads. Yeah, Speedy, was that me? I tried defending it hard. Well then, defending it hard he did. Haas might have kept a really bad Uralkali blue, but my god, has Haas worked it out today. Representing in both categories, well, kind of. They did just get outscored by Williams in F2, so whatever. They were doing good prior to Spain in both categories, and they seem to be doing much better over here. A Ferrari-powered podium with all three customer teams up on that podium, including the actual manufacturer itself. Look at that. Magic. Another race win to celebrate in CRF1. And with that, guys, I said guys, and it's, oh god. And with that, everybody, Magic comes home to win the Spanish Grand Prix with Ryan in a very close second, and Speedy honestly got brutally taken out of third, though he's second, rather. Speedy got brutally taken out of second. So Magic came home to win the Spanish Grand Prix with Ryan coming home in second, and an unlucky Speedy finishing third. Matthew, in an actually pretty good display of his talent, P4, I didn't think he had any talent, but look at that, he dragged that P4 out of him. AQ Flow, not what you wanted to see for Ferrari, but still, 19.9, that means they take the extra fastest lap point. Callum JF and Matt McLaren in P6, Supreme scoring Red Bull's first points in the Constructors in P7, K. Dot in P8 for McLaren, Lil Rex Sam in P9 for Williams, and in Alpine. Well then, what a race. George continues with his no-point streak, and wow. Why don't reviews, huh? Starting with Mr. Speedy. Not yet! And he doesn't seem to be responding to my thing. My invites. If he doesn't respond, like, I guess I could invite Ryan, but, I mean, you know. I know I just kind of want to hear from the actual, like, new driver today. And then I have to dip out. Nope. No podium interviews? Okay, alright. I guess we can hear Ryan talk again. Yeah. So, right now, I have George in the party. Why do you continue your pointless streak?
Because, oh my god, man. After 5 laps with this setup, your tyres just go to like 100 degrees and I've got no front grip. So I was
That's
just
fair.
getting mad understeer. And like, actually, can't be asked anymore. I can't be asked to race.
So does this mean the
Yeah,
ultimate
hopefully.
partnership? Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully we'll talk.
How's it
About
going now? I'm not watching. How's it going?
I don't actually know how the Twitch is going. I'm doing that bit. I'm doing that bit where I like spin the car at the end for the highlights. You know.
Alright.
Like I spin the car at the end for the end card. At the moment, the Twitch is on lap what? Lap 29.
Huh.
Hello there, Ryan.
What a shit show.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah, terrible race. Very bad race, in my opinion.
No, do you know what I must say? How Jamie got them tyres to the end, beyond me. Like, I had no fucking clue.
Just
But the man
how he
was
got them
matching
on
the
that
pace.
pace to the end. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely mental. I had proper skill in it. I was betting. I was like, right, we'll manage the hards on the open the stint. You know, keep them nice, and then same for the end. So then I could battle Speedy, and then fucking Jamie just was fine. Yeah, no clue. But I mean, full respect to him. But I mean, that's 2 in a row for him now. And after him, he's got up like 20 cent gap. It'll be ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I think Speedy's gonna.
Unlucky for
become,
Speedy as well.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, we were matching each other's pace until we were making mistakes. Because he made some, and I closed to like 2. And no, so he
Overall,
he was 3.
I think he was a little bit faster than you. Like overall.
See, I disagree because if it wasn't for the safety car where all the lap cars were in the way, I would have been on his arse.
Yeah, fair.
Because it was 3.5, and then he made an accident. It went to 1.5, and then it stuck around the mid. And then I made a mistake. I had like 3 laps where I like ruined turn 1, and I was taking too much curb, and I was just slowing the car down. And then someone crashed in front of me, and then I let off and whacked on the brakes, you know, as ghosted, which fucked me like another 5 tenths, and then it came to like 2.7, and then the pace was like that, and then I just like, because turn 3, I was like 60, I was like so careful on the throttle, because after last week I didn't want to drop any points, so I was like just losing so much time through there, but my theory was better to finish in P3 than to not, to have the shittest driver on the planet, Matthew, overtake you. He's ERS manager, by the way, but yeah, no, it was, and then at the end I was like, I need to push, and I pushed and set the fastest lap, and then started to close on them, and I closed it to about 1.7, and then they caught up to each other, and then ended up them backing each other up, so I got so close in the end, and Speedy just lost the rear, which is really unfortunate, because he definitely deserved the P2, but yeah, just turn 1 FTR, what the fuck was that, man? I don't know if you've seen that. I went down, I had to back out,
Don't remember it
and I went
too
in
well,
the middle.
but I know I caught
I've got it on clip, I think.
You got about it. All I saw was you just kind of went deep into turn 1. I still kind of got around you a little bit. I don't know if I'm like.
Yeah, I went deep because I locked the brakes because I had someone in front and I didn't touch them. So I kept going. So it wasn't I slowed down incredibly like amount, but we were going around the corner with the same thing. I just went a little bit late on the brakes and still got it through.